In today's video, we're going to be going over the Ultimate Captain America. Straight from my Patreon, I'm going to show you what I did to build this magnificent statue sculpted by Enzo Shimamura. So I've already did some of the skin tones on this one, and I'm going to, and just adding the blue to it. I'm putting this as a base coat here on all of the whole entire model because I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some metallic blue onto it as well. I'm going to keep it basic. Right now I'm just blocking everything in, just getting the base colors on here, so that way later on I can do the detail work. Same thing with the body. I'm just putting this blue on there. It is a nice medium blue, I guess you could say, but it serves as a good base coat for what I'm about to add on there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and seal the head and seal parts of the model, that way I can actually handle them without actually getting any of the paint rubbing off or smeared or anything of that nature. And you can use a hair dryer or a heat gun to somewhat get this dry. And here's where I'm going to go ahead and add this gunmetal blue to the mask, to different areas of it that's going to be like the metallic part of it. And we'll be doing this throughout the shoulder pads and other parts of the body or the suit. And I'm doing a little bit of detail work here on the face, going through some motions of adding some red shade, just some highlights and depth. I'll be doing a separate video pretty soon about new skin tones. And again, just adding some of those blocked out colors, such as the leather on the boots, and I'll be adding the black on the straps as well. And remember, all you're doing here is you're just getting everything base coated, so that way later on you can start doing some of the details onto the model. I like working this way because it gives me a general understanding of what I need to do. So it's here where I've actually went ahead and did some of the silver details onto the buckles, the shoulder pads, and other areas of the suit. And I'm getting ready to start the two-tone on the suit, where I will be adding a darker blue onto the bottom area of the legs and on the back side and the arms. And here are some of the accessories and some of the pouches that I base coated in black. The hammer, and then we have a couple other things that added to the base that I'm going to go ahead and prepare for, including the Winter Soldier's glove here, base coated with a black, and then I used a chrome paint over the top of it. And with this chrome right here, I'm going to go ahead and work on some of the pouches as well. They'll have a base coat of black on there, as well as the chrome over the top of it. Pretty simplistic. And after I get those completed, I will go ahead and glue those onto the body here by using some super glue and some accelerant. And this is going to look really, really nice once the pouches are all on it. There's quite a few actually to put on it. So there we go. And with these colors here, I'm going to go ahead and do the hammer and the scythe here. I'm going to go ahead and just paint those up, get those ready for the base. These are non-stationary items that can just be put anywhere on the base. It was just a nice touch from the artist. And then once I add the base coats on here, then I'm going to go back in and do some highlights on there to kind of bring out some of those high points onto the items. Do a little bit of dry brushing and bring out some of that shimmery finish over there on the hammer as well as the other, the scythe. I don't know whether you call this a scythe or a sickle. I call it a scythe. And then I'll go back and also add that onto the hand as well. For the shield, I'm going to go ahead and add the primer. And this was going pretty good until I ran into a little bit of a small problem. Hold up, stop right there. So I was painting this thing and it had all kinds of trash in the paint, and I just wasn't happy with it. Started to strip it, and as you can tell, did not go over very well. So with that being said, I printed 2 shields and cured them, sanded them down, prepped them and everything, and I'm going to make 2 different types of shields. I'm going to make one with the old red, white, and blue, and then I'm going to make one with its silver and black, kind of a stealth type shield. We'll see how it turns out. So let's go. So back to square one with both shields this time, going ahead and primering and putting the base silver on top. And it was actually moving a little bit easier this time with the pearl white added onto the red, white, and blue shield and onto the stealth as well. And I used Tamiya paint for this, thinned it pretty good, and I used several layers. That way it actually kind of levels out pretty well, and it doesn't go on very clumpy because this stuff dries pretty fast. I hand painted most of this model, and the reason I chose to do the shield because I don't like masking. So just about 3 layers of this, and the shield is just about done. And on the other shield, I'll actually use the gunmetal blue on here. Want to create a little bit more of a metallic finish. And with the red, I'm using a metallic red also from Mr. Hobby. And then I go back into the body with some pastels. I didn't use the airbrush on this one. The pastels just seem to work just a little bit better. They're easier to use in small cracks and crevices like here. And on the base, I just went ahead and primered everything and then put the snow effect on here. I started with this first, and then I gradually started hand painting the gray on the rock and the brown on the soil, and everything else onto the base, such as the copper accents and stuff on the bottom part. All this was all hand painted. And then I added just a black wash on everything. This gives it a really good weathered look. And of course, I went back in and did some highlights with some of the lighter gray. And these brushes and everything I use here is pretty much in my Amazon affiliate links in the description and below. You can find a lot of the stuff over there that I use in my videos. I do get a little small kickback from people buying stuff from there. It does help support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And this base was super detailed, and some of these highlights really made this thing pop. Putting some of these lighter grays on here just really accented the whole entire thing. I could have not been happier with the results. And I did have a little bit of an issue right here with the snow. You see some faint lines right there from the printing. So I used actual acrylic snow on here. And I liked it so much that I went ahead and I added it to most of the model itself. I thought it gave it more of an authentic look. And with the sponge here, I just went in and added some details, some rust effects onto the metal parts of the base and even on the stone part. And this really helps it stand out, gives it a lot of contrast. Not to mention, it just looks cool. Different types of sponges and brushes, all kinds of odd surfaces are great for this right here. And on the shields, I just went ahead and I wanted to do some weathering on here. So I'd done some little, just little stuff with the airbrush to kind of make all the difference in the world with it. And this model is just about finished. So here it is, everybody. The ultimate Captain America. This is from my Patreon. It is still available over there. I really enjoyed this model. I did print it in quarter scale, and it is pretty big. Very well detailed. Enzo did an amazing job on here. And I really appreciate you tuning into the video here. Trying a little something new this time around. And thank you again to all of my Patreon members who help support the channel. Without them, these videos probably could not be made. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check my Patreon out. There is a link in the description as well. Print, prep, paint, repeat, and we'll see you next time.